Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly with Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self love, self care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about who am I? I'm Lady Bounce.
Tonight, y'all.
All right, so you got the mindfulness minute. Help us out. Who are we?
Okay, so here's the mindfulness minute right here. Um, we have for so long in this country been told as Black people what we should do, how we should act, what's appropriate, how we should wear our hair, how we should dress, how we should present ourselves. Blase skip the block. So the thing is, with all of this history coming out about what our contribution to American history really is, and not just that, but even globally, what our contribution to society is on a global scale, we have to take the time out to recognize our own greatness and recognize that we are not supposed to be like any other person, not any other Black person, not especially not any white person. Conformity is a form of slavery. Conformity is a form of being controlled. So kind of the first step in finding your freedom is finding your identity and who you are, not just in society, but who you are to yourself. You know what I mean? Like who the type of person you are, the type of person you want to be. Are you holding true to values that you expect to find in other people? Are you the same type of person as a friend that you want to be someone to be to you? Are you a friend to someone else in that same capacity? And just finding out your own identity. Are you, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you wearing your natural hair because you feel free and you want to wear natural hair, or are you permanent because society has told you that you're supposed to wear your hair slicked back, it's supposed to be in a bun, it's supposed to be kept up, that if your hair is wild and kinky, and then you don't look presentable, you look ghetto. So I would just encourage everyone to take a moment to really reflect on themselves and think about who they are as a person, and are they a reflection of who they really want to be, of who they really are. So just take a moment and like meditate and really find yourself. You know what I'm saying? Connect with yourself.
I like it.
Okay.
I have found myself amongst my many hats I wear, my many identities. I think I've gotten to a point now where I'm pretty comfortable with who I am. I'm natural now. I've been natural, for quite a few years. But for so long, I bought into that stereotype. I gotta have a perm. I gotta have bangs because my forehead is too big. My nose is too big. I gotta do all of these things to offset, who I am.
Imperfections that someone else told you existed.
Exactly.
Yes, I forever wore a bang because I too was told that my forehead was big. So we all know who said that.
Right.
We all know who told us that. But okay, we digress.
Right.
And even now, as a grown person, I'm recently natural. I've been natural about maybe 2 or 3 years now. And for me, I didn't realize, I didn't know what texture my hair was. For 40 something years, I didn't realize the texture of my hair. I didn't realize that, you know what I'm saying, that I had these curls, these abundance of curls. And I ain't gonna lie, I used to be like, well, damn, how Nikki get, you know what I'm saying? How you get the curly hair? And I got my daddy's hair. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was, And then I realized when I thought about it, going through the years of, just getting my hair done and doing my hair, I had never not had my hair done. Like, it was either grandma or Londa was doing my hair, or mama was putting a perm in it. But I had not really felt, grew, touched, wore my natural hair since I was like 12 years old. And I didn't think about that. You know what I'm saying? I was always doing my hair. I was always doing my own hair. And I was always under the assumption that I needed a perm. Me, you know what I'm saying? Because I had been told for so long, oh, you got this, you got hair like your daddy. Your daddy had bad hair and blah, blah, blah. But if to anybody that knows our mother knows that our mother has very fine hair. So to her, our hair was difficult to manage because she didn't have the same type of hair. Our hair had a little more texture to it. She wasn't used to it. So to her, yeah, that's probably exactly what it was. But to anybody else, they like, oh, it's beautiful. Like, you got all these curls. And I mean, and I didn't even know that they existed for real. And it just goes to show how when you don't have your own identity, when you rely on someone else to tell you who you are, you believe that. Even though, because you know, Andre's like, how the heck you didn't know you had curly hair? Just, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't, because I really did. Like, it was ingrained in me. It was ingrained that my hair was not good, that my hair was nappy. You know what I'm saying? And I had a bad grade of hair because I had been told that for so long, and I just followed suit and I did it blindly. That's the thing that's crazy. I blindly followed suit of continuously putting a perm in my hair whenever I felt a little new growth or felt like I needed to do something to it or wouldn't do what I wanted to do. It was just automatic. Put a perm in it. You know what I'm saying? And then I stopped doing that because, you know, when they had the big issue about the lie and what it was doing to us, and you know what I'm saying, how it was really affecting us physically, and how we didn't even realize it, that Black women are more apt to have fibroid cysts because of the lie that we put in our hair messes with our reproductive system. How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's real crazy.
That is nuts. So yeah, that's, you know, that was like a epiphany for me. It was kind of like it. I ain't gonna lie, the hair thing really made me think about a lot of things different. You know what I mean? But let's get into some stuff. Since we talking about the hair thing, I'm tying shit up. Got a bow.
You got a bow?
Got a bow. So anybody who is not aware, we have something called the Crown Act. Okay? What the Crown Act is, it is creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. So we have the Crown Act. The Crown Act passed into California last year. In case anybody doesn't know, and you probably don't because it's only been a year, July 3rd is National Crown Day. Excuse me. And basically that's a day of celebrating our hair. Just our hair. You know what I'm saying? Because God knows how many times have we been told that something that we do in our culture that's fitting for us as Black people is not acceptable in the business world or out in society. You gotta cut your dreads, you gotta braid your dreads, pull them up. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. So the Crown Act was passed in California. And basically the Crown Act bans employers from discrimination against people with natural hair color. Not natural hair color, with natural hair. There are like really 4 pioneers that really started this, but at different times and for different reasons, right? So, Carolyn P., I'm probably gonna say this wrong, Malais, Malais. She is a New York City commission. She is the commissioner of New York City Commission on Human Rights. There was a video that was made, you may have heard of it, of a teenager. He was a wrestler. His name was Andrew Johnson. Let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, his name was Andrew Johnson. And he was a wrestler on a wrestling team for his high school. And yeah, and the referee decided that he didn't like his dreads. So he told him that he could either cut his hair or forfeit the match. Now I don't know the young man's record, but apparently his record was enough to him, important enough to him, that he went along with what the referee said and he cut his hair. And this man stood over him and had him cut his hair. It was like cut him shorter, like made him cut his dreads short, like really, really short. Like, and that's just, it was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It was ridiculous. So she saw that video and then she decided to start looking into different complaints and about hair issues dealing with human rights with African Americans. What she didn't realize is that 2 months prior to that, that's when California State Senator Holly Mitchell, who's a Democrat from LA, and S.C. Eagleston Bracely, she's EVP and COO of Beauty and Personal Care at Unilever. They met at the annual legislative conference in DC, which is a 5-day conference with 600 Black legislators from across the country, and they talk policy and politics, and basically policy and politics for Black people for the most part. So they had already gone forth with that. Then there was an issue with Captain Winna Andrews. She's in the U.S. Army. She had an issue with her dreads. They made a policy change in uniform, and they made a regulation against 2-strand twists and locks, and they made a restrictive requirement size on braids. So this was a concern to a lot of Black women because apparently they didn't want the braids to be like box braids. And you know, there's a lot of stress put on your hair when you braid your hair. So a lot of women were, you know, taking issue with it. They had a concern with it. But this captain she fought because they were basically going to put her out of the military over her hair because she wouldn't conform. And as it turns out, what she did was she styled her hair different. She just styled it different. And when she put it in a different style, she still had the locks, but she like pulled them up or put them back or something. I'm not sure what she did, but it was some slight little change that made the Army digress and be like, okay, well, that's acceptable. We'll take that. But it was a big to do. She drove regulations to change the policies and introduced into the Army Women's Foundation. She was inducted into the Army's Women's Foundation Hall of Fame for implementing diversity change within the policies within military ranks, right? And so the U.S. Navy is also implementing those same policies within the Navy that the Army has based on what she did. You know what I'm saying? Then Dove Crown Research Study. They conducted a social study to see that the social norms and corporate grooming policies unfairly impact Black women in the workforce. 50% are more likely to report being sent home because of their hair, and 80% are more likely to change their hair to conform to whatever policy is in the workplace. That's 4 out of 5 women. So 4 out of 5 Black women have permed their hair or changed their hair in a way to satisfy their corporate counterparts or satisfy whatever business that they're working for that has a policy against having natural hair and stuff. So now,
so I'm gonna ask the obvious question: why do you think that is such an issue? Like, because so much of our identity is tied into our hair, our names, the spelling of our names. Why is it that other cultures are allowed to, you know, have their weird names, wear their hair the way they want to, but then when it comes to people of color, then all of a sudden it's against policy or it's against regulation.
I honestly believe that there's two reasons for that. First of all, the fact that the other cultures are exactly that, other cultures coming from elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Whereas African Americans don't necessarily come from elsewhere. We might be black, but we're still American. So we were still born here. And I believe that they feel that we are supposed to conform to their, that's just obvious. They feel that we are supposed to conform to their beliefs, their way of life, their system, their way of being. They don't want us to be us, but they want to take everything from us, control everything down to the hair on our head, our hair follicles. That's ridiculous. You won't give me a paycheck because of my hair. There was a sister, and I don't recall her name. I didn't write her name down, but she sued a city representative because she was up for a job. She had the credentials. She pretty much had everything that they needed, everything they wanted. But one person, he said that he didn't feel comfortable hiring her because he didn't like her hair. And she got wind of it, and she was able to use that against them in the court of law, sue them, and get the job.
Wow.
Talking about black power.
I have to say that I've been, I guess, privileged, if you will, because I've never had that problem. I've never had a job or a profession that, made me have to conform and change my hair. So I count myself very lucky. And when I look at these cases, and then I've seen, I saw a thing about the young man, the wrestler, and then there was another story of a little girl in Texas where the white teacher cut her hair because she didn't like it. And I was like, who are you? What gives you the right?
Damn, honey, that ain't no way in the world. You gonna cut my child, honey? No, I'd have been up in that mug. It'd have been going down, y'all wouldn't. You don't understand. What? You did what? Bruh. Yeah.
She stood her up in front of the whole class and cut her hair.
I said, forgive these hands. But what was I was gonna say, I have experienced that. I lost a job because of my hair.
Wow.
I was working in the doctor's office. I was doing great. Everything was cool. I came in with box braids. The next week I was fired. The next week she found whatever reason to fire me. She found it in a week.
Wow.
And she had made mention of my hair. She had told me before, because I used to change my hair all the time. And there was a specific way that I had wore my hair one day, which was quite similar actually to the way she wore her hair. It was a white lady, but the hairstyle that I had worn was quite similar to the way she was wearing her hair. And that was the hairstyle that she liked. That was the one that she appreciated. She didn't appreciate the braids. So she let me know and she let me go.
So
but I was a temp, so it wasn't. I couldn't really prove that that's why she let me go. It was because of my hair, but it was because of my hair.
That is crazy. As I hear these stories, and I was even talking to Jay about it the other day. I'm like, the Crown Act, that's wonderful, but I was like, why? Why do we have to resort to
legislation?
Yeah, why?
And listen, I'm gonna tell you. Let me give you another nice little piece of information. Okay, so we have California who passed the Crown Act on 7/13. So that was the first official law. 7/15, same year, 2019. 7/15, New York passes a similar act. It's Assembly Bill 07797, prohibits hair discrimination. New Jersey passed the bill in 12/19/19 because of Andrew Johnson. It immediately went into effect. The same day that shit passed, that shit went into effect. It immediately went into effect after everybody saw what happened to him. Maryland passed the law on 2/6/20 of this year. It's WUSA 9. And this one includes taxi services, cable services, and other groups that I guess discriminate. I ain't never heard of the taxi service. I don't know why. Okay, but okay. So Virginia, same thing. 3-4-20. Virginia is the first. Excuse me. Virginia is the first Southern state to adopt the Crown Act, and legislation went into effect. They passed it 3-4-20, but it didn't go into effect until this year, until July. So I don't know what took them so long, but it's the South. So, so then we have Colorado on 3-20. They passed House Bill 1048. Washington and 3-20. They passed House Bill 2602. It's the Morgan Bill with Representative Melanie Morgan. She's a Democrat from Parkland, and they passed their Crown Act. So I don't know how many other states are up for passing it or bound to pass, whatever. But there is a website. It's the Crown Act website. If you want any more information or about the situation, you can look that up, and it's the Crown Act website. So it's just very interesting that we need to have regulations or legislation for us to grow our hair, for us to be able to, not just to grow our hair, but for us to be able to participate in society. You know what I'm saying? We in order for us to work, in order for us to go to school, participate in after school activities, like that's just that I never saw that video. I had never heard about that video. That's absolutely nuts. I don't really see how the parents could let that go down. Cause no, like my son would have been mad at me. He'd have been pissed because I'd have been like, son, you about to forfeit the fuck out of this match.
Well, his parents were there. You know, they were there at the match, and his mom was like, she left the decision to him. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm sure they left they left it up to him. I don't want to seem as though I'm trying to place any blame on the parents or say that they should have and they didn't. I'm not trying to say nothing like that. The boy was old enough to make his own choice. I'm sure that, like I said, that match or his record was more important to him than them dreads. But as a mama bear,
right?
As a mama bear, you know what I'm saying? We done been at that ref like. But anyway, so speaking more on the situation of identity, we're having there are people that's having issues with everything that's happening with Black Lives Matter and stuff. You're finding people that are biracial, that are having issues with their white family members because they don't understand the Black Lives Matter thing. The crazy thing is that the narrative going around about Black Lives Matter as far as white people and what they don't understand about it, they really do think it's really about people looting and tearing up stuff and burning down things. They really have no understanding, and I don't know if they don't want to or if they just dumb. I don't know. I just don't get it.
Well, I think a lot of it is rooted in miseducation, and it's definitely rooted in fear. Whereas, we as Black people looking at it like, look, we just want the same opportunities that you have, and we want them free and clear, just like you have them. But there's a lot of people who like the status quo and like the way that things always work, and they really feel threatened by us being equal. And
like really interesting. And the thing is, you know how you hear things and things don't sit well with you and you don't always know why. Mm-hmm. And yet you find yourself but you do it to get by. You do it to comply because that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? You trying to feed your family, you trying to get through life, and that's all we trying to do. All we trying to do is live. All we trying to do is get through life. All we trying to do is feed, just like anybody else. Like, why you got all these special fucking rules for me? You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, why? Like, it's ridiculous. So did you listen to Louis Farrakhan's speech on the 4th?
I didn't listen to all of it, and I have it paused so I can go back and listen to the rest, but I ended up getting distracted. So,
well, understandable. Sometimes it happens. But I found something very interesting in what he was saying about slavery and when it actually happened. A lot of history has it written down that that we were slaves starting in 1619. That's when they have the first, I guess, shit docking in Richmond, Virginia. But Louis Farrakhan goes to say that it actually started in 1555. And he's like, why do you think that there is a 64-year gap between what actually occurred and what they have written about? And I found that interesting. And if you go to AmericanHistory.com, they suggest that Africans were here as early as 1526 in the U.S. So he brought up something very interesting, though, is that he was saying that in that 64-year span, what was happening was the training of slavery, the induction of Black people into slavery in such a way that we were, because we were warriors, you know what I'm saying? We were, from my understanding of how things went down, people were captured by other tribes. White men came over, they did like some type of trade, and they traded people for goods or whatever. This is a tribes person from another tribe that you are at war with, you know what I'm saying? You trade them off. Okay. So they were warriors. We talking about warriors. Now I know that they on ships and stuff and they coming from a foreign land, but by the same token, warrior, it don't matter where you from. If you a warrior, you a warrior. And if somebody is trying to beat you into submission as a warrior, you're not going to take that shit. You know what I'm saying? So what he was saying is that what they was doing within that 64 years was trying to get control by breeding Africans and then killing the parents and then having the babies raised by white women, but they was house niggas. You feel what I'm saying?
Wow.
So the ones that they broke them, and the ones that they couldn't break, they bred them and killed them, which I find to be credible, not because I think everything that Farrakhan says is gospel, but because it does make sense as far as how we became indoctrinated in their beliefs of us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How we are so ready to accept and so ready to believe their thoughts and opinions about how we should act, and their thoughts and opinions about how we should look, and their thoughts and opinions about how they want society to go and how they feel like we should incorporate ourselves in that society. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's, so the situation of identity runs so much deeper than we even really know. And like I didn't even realize, and it makes perfect sense. Family reunions came about because of slavery, because the abolishment of slavery. People were looking for their families, so they call them a family reunion. Something else white people picked up from Black people, right? Then I have to go back, and I'm saying this, but I'm saying this without absolute assuredness, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that January 1st was really like an emancipation holiday for Black people. Somewhere, not everybody was liberated at the same time, so we do Juneteenth in Texas, because in Texas, that's when they found out on, June 19th, 2 years after it occurred. But people found out at different times all across the country. I don't know what region of the country it was that found out like January 1st, and they celebrated on January the 1st. Now you got a whole world that celebrates New Year's on January 1st. Is it really New Year's, or is it a new year but created by black people from people that were slaves that said this is a new year, we going into a new year as free people, a new year where we're not enslaved, and then America just picked it up as a national holiday to celebrate a new year.
Wow.
Now I don't know if that happened. I'm not saying that is what happened. I'm just saying that's the process of thought I'm on with the situation, because that's what it sounds like.
And it's so funny that you say that, because it leads right into our self-care assignment. So go ahead and hit us with that self-care assignment.
I got one. I was supposed to have that?
Yeah, I sent it to you, but I can read it if you want me to.
No, okay, no, wait a minute, hold on. Let me do my part now. Hold on. Did you send me a self-care assignment? I didn't get one. I did. I saw it. I did see the okay, here we go. I'm gonna roll with this. All right. Being confident in yourself and your lifestyle is a positive step towards happiness. Frequent comparisons to others can be destructive to this. Everyone is different, and accepting that will help you feel secure about your own situation. Acknowledge that there will always be someone better off than you. Also acknowledge that there was always going to be somebody worse off than you. Whatever you're going through, as long as you I don't care, it really don't even matter wherever you are in your life, whatever's going on, please believe there's somebody out there going through it worse. Understand that. Okay. Notice when you start to make upward comparisons and divert your attention. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, look, just know there's somebody that's gonna have it better than you, and that's okay. Kudos. But there's gonna be somebody that's got it worse than you too. So just be grateful. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying to an extent you have to accept what's going on, and then you accept what you need to accept, and then you make your changes appropriately. And that's how that goes. You know what I'm saying? And everybody always talking about God gonna come help you, God gonna pray. And I ain't saying that he won't. Pray to God, do your thing. But understand that it also says the Lord helps those who helps themselves.
I like it. So for our brain science, as we wrap this up this week, it's about handling microaggressions, coping with microaggressions. So 3 quick tips for dealing with microaggression as you continue to navigate through, finding your identity. Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, all of those different facets that are happening. This is how you deal with it. First of all, find spaces with people just like you that will make you feel loved and feel validated just as you are. Practice self-care in response to those different issues. When you feel like it's too much, disengage. Get off Facebook, get off Instagram, Twitter, stop arguing with people. Practice that good form of self-care after you hung out with your good girlfriends. Then the biggest piece to it is spend some time with yourself to figure out who you are and who you want to be and what you want to look like in this changing world. You don't have to be what everybody else says you have to be or what they want you to be. You are allowed to sit with yourself and figure out exactly who it is that you want to be. And so, like always, if you struggle with finding out who you are and who you want to be, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your favorite podcast. And you can always email us at flywithusla@gmail.com. So you fly with us, we'll help you find yourself while we find ourselves and navigate this crazy world. I'm Lady Bounce.
I'm Kryptonite, y'all.
And we out of here.